Welcome to movie night with Marcos and Paulina.
Hi.
How's it going? I haven't seen you in forever. We just recently finished watching The Crown season 4, which is funny. I had not seen a single season before season 4. And you had seen seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, I don't know if this is happening to everyone else as well, but basically everyone in my life started talking about The Crown maybe a month ago. They're like, oh yeah, The Crown. Yeah, we're going to watch The Crown tonight. Okay, I don't mean to, in high school, it was a big thing to be a hipster and to be the first one to watch something. I am an OG with The Crown, okay? I know I sound stupid saying that, but I watched The Crown when it first came out. I watched season 1, and then season 2 came out, and I watched that. And I was watching it when no one gave a shit. But I did stop watching after season 2. I didn't watch season 3. And maybe it's because it was gaining popularity. I don't know. Maybe that sounds silly. But Marcos and I watched season 4 together. And watching season 4 together, I was like, oh yeah, that's why I stopped watching it.
Yeah, I thought it was an alright show, but I'm surprised by the amount of hype it's getting.
I know, it's getting a lot of hype, and I was there. I gave it a big chance. I watched season 1, I enjoyed it. I watched season 2, I enjoyed it. But all of the kind of things that I didn't like about season 1 and 2, they continue throughout even to season 4. So it's the style, it's what they want to do. It's not like it was a mistake that they were going to improve upon. And we'll talk about what I don't like about it. But basically, watching season 4 with you just confirmed to me it's not my show.
Yeah, it's weird for me because I agree. It's not the best show, but it was so interesting. It's the kind of show where you need to be on your phone to look up all these events.
No, that is exactly... Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So one of the things that it's what I like and what I don't like.
Yeah.
So throughout the show, all I'm really doing is reading wiki pages.
Yes.
I'm reading Wikipedia the whole time.
Exactly.
Because that's where you're getting the actual drama. You get the drama in the Wikipedia page. Meanwhile, in the show, they talk about dramatic things in passing, or you hear it on a news broadcast, but it's never up front. They gloss over things that could be a really dramatic part of the show. Like, for example, the whole dating between Charles and Diana in season 4, it lasts one episode. And there's not really any drama in it. And then it basically cuts to marital problems. It doesn't focus on her pregnancy, doesn't focus on their honeymoon. Like, none of these things that could lead to an interesting narrative.
Yeah.
It really just feels like they give you a teaser or a taste for what their lives are so that you can Google it. Google the nice details.
Yeah, I agree. I started rewatching season 4, episode 1, because I kind of forgot. And I don't know if you remember, but it's about the IRA, the Irish Republican Army, and about how they're going to really screw things up and start a war and everything.
Yeah, so you feel like that's going to be a
big deal.
A big theme of the season.
Yes, and it's not. They get over it so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, you hear them mention it a little bit, then Australia comes on, and I mean, in a way, I can see how stylistically... Maybe they're saying, the monarchy is so long term that even these things that should be big deals to them are not. Because they're just this, like the idea that if you're immortal, you start becoming, what is that things? What would you call that? Apathetic.
Yeah. Let's talk about what we liked, because it sounds like we have more negative things.
Yeah.
I think we kind of already brought it up that the show is interesting, and I do love hearing more about, I guess, the UK and how their politics works and what major things went on in their country. I don't know. I'm very used to America, US-centric politics and events, So to hear a new perspective, that's really cool to me. And to hear like, oh, Downing Street is where all of the politicking happens, and Buckingham Palace is where the Queen lives, and I don't know, things that those terms weren't even like part of my mind, you know. So that's cool to me, but that's just one for me. How about you?
What I liked about the first few seasons was they did feel like more of a period drama because they're set at the beginning of her reign. So I really do enjoy that. I love being taken back into history. So yeah, that is enjoyable. Also, another huge strength is the acting.
Yes.
I think the actors are phenomenal.
I totally agree. I think we're meant to dislike some of these characters, like Prince Charles.
Oh, I hate him.
I love hating him.
Total snob.
Yeah. I think we were meant to dislike this character, and so the actor did a great job. I forget the actor's name, but
he's fun fact, he is in Emma. He is Elton, and he's also dislikable in Emma. And we recently reviewed Emma, so if you haven't listened to that, you can listen to our video.
Just one episode less. Go back one episode.
Oh, it was one episode, yeah. 1 episode ago.
So I totally agree with you. The actors did great. And I think, even though it is kind of a negative, I think the show looks really nice too. The palace looks beautiful.
It does look nice. And apparently, so my friend was saying that they spend a lot of time on set design and costumes. So that those are things that they're really proud of.
Yeah.
I can see it.
I really like when they dress up for like those big military showcases or whatever, because I think they just look really nice and official. I did watch a little bit of season 1 and just like kind of skimmed around, and it is kind of interesting how they change in their attire and
seeing the fashion change. That's cool. One of the things that you just said that I wanted to touch on was kind of the ceremony of it all. Marcos and I were sort of talking about how ridiculously stupid a lot of it is.
Yes.
And I think that's because in our hearts, you know, we are part of a republic, you know, we go for the democracy, we go for having a republic, and just the idea of having a monarchy in itself is ridiculous to us. So on that level, that's what kind of watching that and seeing them in the 80s, seeing a monarchy in the 80s and 90s, it has an element of the ridiculous.
Yeah, and I can't imagine wanting to keep the monarchy around, except for it's cool, it's distinctive, and it makes Britain
they're like
special.
Proud of it. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, they even mention in one of them, they're saying we're having, there's this episode which was interesting where part of the royal family, when the previous king abdicated and Queen Elizabeth's father came to the throne, you're probably familiar with this history, but he abdicated because he fell in love with a divorced woman, so he relinquished his crown is what that means. And the new king, so his younger brother, his wife's family had a lot of family members, so her nieces, who were disabled.
Yeah, they were born with something.
Born with, mental disabilities, and they faked their deaths and put them in a kind of like mental asylum, or kind of like a nursing home sort of, to take care of them. And they said that they did that, and one of the reasons they did that was because the monarchy was already on such a thin line, so really ultimately what it comes down to for a lot of the stupid things that they do, it's to keep power, and it's crazy because it's said throughout a lot with their problems with Ireland, their problems with Australia, even within their own country, that really the monarchy is a dying thing. And I mean, really, they're just, even though they seem like they don't really care almost, they really do care about their power and they want to stay in control. Yeah. Even though it doesn't seem like they're in control of anything.
Yeah, you don't really see them do anything.
All they do is go on expensive tours to other countries.
Yeah, do speeches that are more political, but she can't say anything.
She can't say anything biased. Exactly. She has to be objective. They go hunting. They have dinner together sometimes.
Yeah, it is really frustrating to see how they get all this power and yet they're somehow also powerless. but they get the
Yes.
respect.
Yeah.
And
all the ceremony. They care so much about how people bow and address them. Just all this bullshit. It's all bullshit.
totally agree. And going back to your point about like they do all this for power,
Mm-hmm.
I think like one of the I guess messages I got from the show was this is exactly what happens when you try to have this appearance of being perfect.
Yes.
Yes. You have to look like you're in a happy, perfect marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Your family's perfectly healthy, no mental health issues, no any other issues, and it just causes more problems than
Mm-hmm.
it solves by trying to seek this perfection. No one in this family looks happy, and even in real life, a lot of these people seem to still have these issues. I mean,
they all have extramarital affairs,
Yeah.
and several times in this season, especially, they say that's the way of it. That's how it goes.
yeah. And they
Like,
just
suck it
hide
up.
it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that in the show, they kind of make it like high drama. I was reading that not everything is exactly accurate,
Mm-hmm.
but it is true that there was there was a bunch of affairs going on between Charles and Diana. They were
Yeah.
cheating on each other.
Well,
It-
and it's funny that you said they make it more high drama, because I argue that there's not enough drama in the show. Like, if they're gonna make something up, come on, like, give some more drama.
Yeah, I think what I'm trying to say is like they added details that weren't true.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like even though they are doing that in the show, like making up some facts.
What wasn't true, for example?
For example, they were saying like, oh, Charles and Diana, they were actually really happy into their pregnancy with Prince Harry.
Oh, you're saying in real life?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually watched, you weren't here when I watched it, but I watched a documentary on Diana, and she was saying, Diana said that they were really happy when she was pregnant with Harry. And yeah, in the show, Princess Anne was saying that they're not happy at all. But Diana, in the interview, said that it was right after Harry was born that it just like never recovered after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is sad. And there's real life consequences. I mean,
Yeah.
there's Prince Andrew, who's involved in the Epstein scandal.
Mm-hmm.
There's Prince Harry, that pretty much is leaving his family with Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
There's just like a bunch of little things that.
Well, the fact that Prince Charles finally married Camilla,
Yeah,
when it's like, should have just done that from the start.
exactly. And it's ridiculous that because they wanted to appear perfect this whole time, they just created their own problems with Prince Charles's marriage.
This is reminding me of a quote from John Steinbeck's book, East of Eden, which was recommended to me by a friend. If you have not read it and you love and you enjoy reading, it is amazing. But there's this quote, and it's really famous, so you've probably heard it already, but and now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good. And I think what you've been talking a lot about of this perfection that actually led to, sour consequences. In the book, it's the same way that when you're trying to be perfect and you're hiding, you're kind of fighting against yourself and kind of lying about your true nature. It does lead to worse things. But knowing that you can't do everything perfect, it kind of gives you this freedom. It gives you a freedom to make mistakes, a freedom to do things maybe not the way others expect you to, but then you can do a good job of it. So maybe what would that have looked like for them? Maybe when they're engaged, when Diana and Charles were engaged and they realized that they didn't love each other, or that when they realized it wasn't gonna, because it seemed like they knew. I mean, obviously that was just in the show. Maybe it wasn't like that in real life.
Yeah, but I think it probably was true that the Queen was trying to prevent the divorce from happening.
Yeah. So
And I
maybe
think-
instead of trying to keep it perfect, what would have looked good would have been a more functional ending to the marriage.
Yeah. Or also at the very beginning, he's kind of pressured into choosing Diana
Yeah.
to have, a
When
wife.
she's 18 or 19 and he's 31.
Yeah, there's like a 13 age difference.
Gross.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, that wouldn't be as big of a difference. If she was 25 and he was 36, I wouldn't be as grossed out. But the fact that she's 18, she literally would have been just graduated school, totally innocent. And I think Wikipedia anyway implied that, the documentary implied that there's an element that they liked that she was young because there is the idea that she was a virgin. But I don't know how accurate that is. It probably mattered. I don't know.
I always just thought that
she was too young, though.
He likes young girls. I don't know. Kind of
No, because he likes Camilla and she's older than him. But
Yeah,
not that much.
If he had to pick a second, though,
Why not go for the younger one?
What
are you saying right now?
That's what I'm saying that Charles is thinking.
Oh, Charles?
Yeah.
Oh, not all men?
No.
Okay.
Well, he chose Camilla after all, right?
Right.
So do you think that, I mean, this isn't really a spoiler because we know history, but obviously Diana's going to die in the show.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't die in season 4.
Exactly. So she's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it was a conspiracy?
I don't know.
Because
to be
he does
honest,
marry
it's
Camilla.
embarrassing. It's embarrassing, but I do kind of fall for some conspiracy. Like when I hear them, I'm like, oh my gosh, that must be true.
Well, some of them are true, right?
Which is why I try not to hear them, because how awful would it be to live in a world where conspiracy theories are true because they're so awful. You'd have to believe the very worst of humankind, of humans.
Or that we're really good at covering things up.
Yeah, but the fact that they would carry things like that out, that someone would plan for her death is just appalling. So I don't want to believe in them because of that. I don't want to believe that people can really be that evil.
I guess the reason why I'm like, I didn't believe it at all, but this show, because it kind of puts you in their mindsets, he's basically led to believe, well, I'm in this marriage. I can't get divorced out of it, even though he does.
Yeah, but they do get divorced. I think the actual conspiracy comes from the fact that Princess Diana was dating some kind of, I think he was a billionaire and he was Muslim.
Yeah.
And apparently he was maybe going to propose to her. So it was this controversy of how can the mother of the future king of England be married to a Muslim, and then the future king of England would have a half brother who, just all of. See, this is our point. Monarchy is stupid. Like, these wouldn't even be issues if the monarchy didn't exist. So here we are. Attention to England. I'm letting you know you should abolish your monarchy. There you go. Problem solved.
They must make a lot of money out of travelers and people just going to visit. Tourism.
Palace and stuff. But imagine if they didn't live there and tourists could actually, can they go inside?
I'm
Probably
pretty sure
not.
they can go to Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, but you can't go inside.
I think I read online that it's open to the public now.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I could be wrong about that.
I don't know.
See, we're just ignorant enough.
Yeah, I was about to say we're not that cultured.
See, that's why the crown is so important. They better get it all right.
Yeah, this is where we're getting our facts.
Yeah, we're not getting it from a textbook.
Yeah.
We're getting it.
We're using Wikipedia and the Crown.
Yeah, that's where my mom gets it. Ultimately, it is a very entertaining show.
What? Did you just say very entertaining? I was just arguing that at the beginning that it's not that entertaining.
It's entertaining because it makes you want to look up more. So, indirectly.
No, that's not entertaining. That's intriguing. It's an intriguing show.
I think I finished season 3 really quickly. I want to watch season 1 and 2. I would call that an entertaining show.
Wow. So then you liked it more than I do because I don't really even have an interest in watching it.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk about how unlikable Camilla is?
She does a great job of being
so unlikable.
But like passively, she's not it's not like she's doing things very actively. She just kind of talks and has these side glances and you just kind of don't like her face,
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say that the reason why the show kind of frustrates me, even though I think it's really entertaining, is that it's not a documentary and so it's kind of like a story. Like I think
it's not really driven by a narrative.
Exactly.
Right? It doesn't really have a storyline. So it kind of feels like a documentary because you're just following time.
But it's not a documentary. So
because it's not fully accurate. Yeah.
And it doesn't like interview real people,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So it's like stuck in this weird place for me where I think like, oh, there's like a Game of Thrones element where there's a lot of political intrigue, but you can't mess with history. So you have to make it like true and
Yeah.
accurate. But they also don't bring in all these experts and interview real life people. So you're just stuck kind of believing their story. And let's say I want to hear more about this like IRA subplot. Nope, it's gone. You have to look it up. And so
I am curious. Okay, so I think I am curious if the show is popular in England. I do think, especially with when it comes to Princess Diana, there's this like American obsession with the British monarchy. You know, like when Kate Middleton and Prince William got married, and everyone was talking about it and obsessed over it.
we saw it in
and
middle
Meghan
school.
Markle and Prince Harry. Yeah, I mean, you know, the weddings are super publicized. People are talking about it, and I always felt like, who gives a shit? Like, I really don't care. So, you know, I mean, not to insult anyone who's into it, like, you know, it is entertaining, especially once I start looking at it and reading about it, it is entertaining. But my point is, I wonder how much of that is an American thing, where it's kind of like they're just celebrities and Americans love celebrities, or do British people also, are they interested in the crown, and are they obsessed with, I mean, from the show, I guess you do see them that they really do care about the royal family, and they care about
their image.
Yeah, even when the babies were born, everyone was waiting for William to be born. They were so excited. I mean, you know, that's nice because it's like, oh, humans being happy for each other. But I also don't like the kind of the obsession with celebrities, that stardom.
No, I can get why that would frustrate you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw online that there's this...
I'm jealous.
I think I read that there was this poll on how the popularity of these people improved or worsened through the show.
I'm curious.
I actually saw that most of them got a boost.
What?
Yeah, even Charles.
Why? Because they seem more human?
I guess so.
Okay. They should not get a boost. Basically, you see that, and it's so funny. I was about to say, you see that they're human and they shouldn't just be given this title and all this money. But that's like saying, basically, you see that they're not perfect and they don't deserve it. And we were just talking about how you don't need to be perfect.
I guess the only person I expected to improve, like the image, was Diana, which I don't think she needs a
Well,
vision
no,
boost.
actually, I thought that the show showed Diana being a little, like, everyone only says good things about Diana and how, you know, she worked for charities and all that.
Right.
But there was a lot of the show showed a lot of her naivety and her...
I guess like her interest in being famous, maybe.
Yeah.
Or power.
Her interest in that, and even, I don't know, I guess I was going to say she doesn't seem very intelligent in the show.
Yeah, I guess they could have made her seem more cunning, and instead she is
not
just
cunning,
young.
just
smart.
No, she didn't really seem that smart to me.
Well, yeah, but you think like with all that interest in being famous, you think she'd be a little bit more cunning, but she's not
the show
really.
paints her that way, that she does want eyes to be looking at her and stuff. From the documentary, it didn't seem like that. In the documentary, it seemed like she was really shy. But who knows? Who knows what's true?
But I don't think you can argue that they were definitely focusing on how rough she had it. Even if she is in a nice apartment palace or whatever, she was always vomiting. Yeah, she was alone.
Really bad bulimia.
They were pressuring her to figure out this marriage when Charles, it looked like he didn't really want anything to do with it. So I think even though, she's not exactly this perfect character, I think she is the most sympathetic one out of them all.
Well, no, yeah, but for the boost, I would think maybe Queen Elizabeth. Like, I think, you know, she seems like she kind of does the best that she can. She's a cold person. It's hard. She really struggles with emotional vulnerability, but she, for the most part, is pretty good, you know? Her kids, though, all of them suck. I mean,
I love
Anne
that
is like
episode.
okay.
Yeah.
Anne is okay.
That episode where they all eat lunch with her.
Yeah, she's trying to figure out who her favorite kid is.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious, and I guess she liked Andrew the
funny.
most.
He said Andrew was her favorite.
Just because
he's funny.
Yeah, he had personality compared to
He doesn't
Edward.
resent her.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem that he like all of her other kids seem to sort of resent her or
just want money or something.
It doesn't seem like they really care for her. They even like to spite her a little bit. So Anne and Charles kind of want to spite their mother because she was probably an absentee mother.
Yeah.
But yeah, Andrew seems to actually have more of a relationship with her. So of course.
Mm-hmm. I also pity Edward. I mean, he's the last one, and he was bullied apparently.
Yeah. Well, Charles was bullied too.
But he's gonna be king, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying he doesn't have a hard life, but come on.
No, that's the point. Okay, throughout the show though, there are so many points where they're like just talking about how hard their lives are. And look, I get it. Depression. I know. I mean, I'm not saying it's not hard for them, okay? But but so many of the problems seem to be like, oh no, poor you're so lonely because you're so powerful but you want to hold on to your crown. So that's too bad. I'm so sorry. Or, you know, I mean, where like even Charles and Andrew and Edward, where they just feel so, I mean, Andrew not so much, but Charles and Edward feel so sorry for themselves. And even Anne, that she says, don't take away the one thing I have about her affair. And it's like, boo-hoo, you know?
Then you must have really liked it when the queen just told off Charles.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it when she told him off. It was like, yeah, suck it up.
Yeah.
I'm being such a jerk.
No, I'm sure we were all thinking about it.
But yeah, I mean, all of that is real, but they really do come across as whiny children. Like the problems, I'm not saying that they don't feel the same emotion, but it just doesn't seem like they have any coping skills, and they just want people to feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
Or they excuse their bad behavior with saying, oh, I got made fun of because I'm the prince. Oh, man.
The crowd booed me. I can't have the woman I love.
Yeah, the crowd. Yeah, they're paying attention to her, not to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's just so dumb.
Apparently, it was true that he really didn't like that Diana got all the attention.
Oh, I'm sure. He seems like a self-absorbed snob. And Diana, so many people, like when I was watching the documentary, they were saying, oh, he's so attractive. I don't even think he's attractive.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
like the real one.
Yeah.
The actor, I think, is, you know, he's fine. But
yeah, you look at pictures
the actual Prince Charles, I'm like, oh.
Even back like when he was young and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does look a little odd.
It's just like, come on, admit it. It's because he's a prince. Anyway, I guess all of this just shows I didn't like it. I don't like it. I like watching shows about the monarchy when it's like in the 1400s, when it makes sense that there's a monarchy because it's the 1400s.
Yeah, we need some kind of government or some kind of leadership.
Yeah, but now it just seems stupid.
I agree. It does seem stupid, but I still like the show. Found it entertaining. Do you think it's a couple show?
I think so, because when I would watch it on my own, I would like fall asleep or I would start doing something else, and then I had no idea what was happening in the show.
Yeah.
Whereas when you watch it with someone, you kind of inevitably start talking about it.
Exactly. I totally
agree. Which is way
agree.
more interesting.
I think the best part about the show is you have someone to talk about, like, wasn't that ridiculous?
Yeah, like you say, wasn't that ridiculous? Or
oh, like, hey, did you look up if that was true or not?
Yeah.
Already on it.
We did a lot of that.
Exactly, yeah. So I definitely enjoyed watching this with you.
Yeah, me too.
It was cool to do it together instead of like me. I was watching it season 3. I mean,
on your own,
on my own,
mm-hmm.
and it just kind of goes on and goes by, and you think, okay, whatever. But yeah, I highly recommend it for couples. Even if you don't like the monarchy.
Or to watch with your parents. My friend is watching it with her parents. And she's having fun doing that.
Yeah. Because then you get to compare your family with someone else's family. And your family's inevitably going to be better.
Look at them. They're way more dysfunctional than we are.
Exactly. So if you had to give it a ranking on your scale, your super fancy, famous scale, what do you give it?
I would say a B.
A B?
Yeah.
I
solid
think
B.
that's very fair. I would also give it a
Yeah.
B because, again, it can be kind of boring. There's a lot of these sweeping landscape or just not as interesting, or some things I think they could do better, but it still does pique my attention enough to want to look up more. So
Yeah.
in that way, I think it succeeds as a show.
Yeah.
Overall, good time.
Yeah. Go ahead and watch it if you do, if you're already watching it, let us know what you think.
Yeah, definitely. I think for next week, what do you want to talk about? The King? The movie?
No, I was thinking Castlevania.
Castlevania, that's another TV show.
Oh,
Our show's
I
called
guess we have to do a movie.
Movie Night.
Right.
Plus
we should do a
it's
Christmas movie.
A Christmas movie. Yeah, let's do that.
We could do one of my favorite ones is what is it? White Christmas.
Is it Bracelets?
And I would love to do that one. Oh no. I would love to do that one because maybe, to introduce it to people who don't know old movies or like who haven't heard of it.
Let's do it then.
Yeah, I love that one.
All right. Thank you for listening to Movie Night. Go check us out on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review. We're also on Spotify. We're on Amazon Music. We're on YouTube. Please subscribe. And thank you for listening.
We'll be back next week. Let us know what you're watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.